Want to get it going?
Yeah.
We good? All right, here we go. 3, 2.
Oh.
Hello, and welcome to another high-flying altitude attitude alteration. Air Force air rating aerial acrobats. Following flyboys in flight suits while falling out of perfectly good flying machines while Uncle Gary gets excited about the South Koreans firing a warning shot at North Koreans episode of the Days Grimm.
God bless you.
My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm.
What's up, dude?
Not much. Just finished that Bound the Mountain 5K.
I'm going to be honest with you. First off, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Proud of you, dude. And then secondly, this mic is up in my grill. I'm proud of you first off. Secondly, I feel like there's been a lot going on. You know, we record in advance a lot, dude. And I feel like I haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So what do you got going on, dude? Is everything...
Yeah.
Everything's
living
going
life,
good?
You know?
Just chilling?
Yeah.
Doing 5Ks on the fly like a fucking stud?
Yeah, untrained. On shrooms.
Untrained? Yeah, dude. What did you texted me and you were like, on shrooms, on something, and a C4.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said?
Yeah. Just powered through.
What was the other thing?
A dab.
A dab. That's what it was. You had done weed, shrooms,
and had a pre-workout.
And borderline methamphetamines with C4 pre-workout. And I'll be honest with you, dude. Right here.
It did good pace.
I don't know how you didn't die, man. What was your pace on 3.2 miles?
It was like a 9:52 per mile.
That's fucking...
On trails.
You can do better.
Well, yeah, but... Like I told you, I had that side stitch and stuff.
You're better than
terrible.
that. You're
Untrained.
better than that, dude.
I know.
You're better than that. You disappointed me just now. I thought you were going to be like 8:45.
No, that was like Mike Allen and them. Or Michael Smith.
Dude, but anyways, welcome to the Days Grimm, everybody. Thank you for tuning in this week. Do me a favor, subscribe to the YouTube. Tell your friends about us. Leave us a rating on Spotify. That's a thing that they're doing now. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. Check us out where, you know, what's the pod one? The G pod or A pod.
They got them all. Like
Anal pod, whatever they're into. Wherever you're getting your pods at, man, wherever you're listening to this right now, just do me a favor. Take a minute, subscribe. It'll let you know whenever we release a new episode every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Good to hear you guys. Good to see you back, listening to the show. Good to see my friend Thomas here. You're a stud. You've had a rough week, but I'm glad you made it in, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a long 2 weeks since we've seen each other.
Yeah,
we record in advance. It's just the way it worked out this week, man. But good to see you, dude. Do me a favor, Thomas. Can you do me one big favor?
Yeah.
Hit him with that intro.
Joining us this week in the Days Grimm studio is local Vanderburgh County Air Force pilot Joe Greene. Joe, how you doing?
What's up, dude? What's up, dude? Are you dying? Is that it? This is it. This is the end for you.
I had a Grippo stuck in my trachea.
Dude, it looked like you were going down. Your eyes shifted to the side, and I was concerned.
It almost had a grip on my life there.
Oh, the Grippo had a grip, dude.
Grippo had a grip. But luckily, I skied away with my life. So.
Ski, not beer. Just so we're clear.
Ski, not beer.
Ski, not beer, everybody.
Is that like one thing you can't get in Germany is Grippos and ski?
Oh, well, I can have somebody ship it in, so if y'all want to send me a box of
a case of Grippos and
Grippos and stuff like that. That'll be need to postmark that to Deutschland since I'm over on.
Dude, you know what? Hey, I'll tell you what, dude. We often do like this weird thing at the end of every episode, or not even at the end, but like in the description. Would it be weird if we put your address that people can send shit to in the description? So like if somebody listening to this, because we have a lot of military subscribers and followers that like really, really like are pro-military and like, and
yeah, we could do.
And thank you to all of you guys. So, but if there's something that somebody wants to send you, Could we put your address to send stuff to that you could receive in Germany?
Yeah, we can do the PO box.
Okay, and we'll cover that. We'll cover that in the description.
Before we get too far, let's get your AFSC exactly and what you do.
So I'm 2 Alpha 5 7 1 Charlie. So what
that's a lot of letters and numbers.
So 2 Alpha.
What's the English description of this job?
So airlift, special missions, aircraft maintenance. So I'm not a pilot. I'm an aircraft maintainer. So I fly as a hobby, but I'm C5 and C17 crew chief. So I work on 2 of the largest heavy lifters that we have. So C5M model and then a C17A model aircraft.
So how big are these planes compared to like commercial aircraft?
Like bigger than my house, I would assume.
So the T-tail is 65 feet tall from the ground to the tail. This is the C5. So it's 65 feet from the ground to the tail.
65
it's
feet.
222 foot wingspan and 230 something feet long. Don't quote me on that.
Lengthwise.
If you're curious, Google it.
300 feet long.
So yeah,
roughly.
so
These are big birds.
yeah, so this is the biggest one we work on. The other one is about half the size or smaller. Pretty much the C5, I can walk underneath the nose, right where the nose landing gear is, and I don't
And
hit
you're a
my
tall
head.
person.
And I'm 6 foot tall, so you can't. I don't hit my head on the nose there. So that's just the nose landing gear, and that's where the visor door mates to the airframe.
So this landing gear is 6 feet tall.
That's crazy.
The landing gear itself.
And what is the proper nomenclature for that plane? So we have like the C-130, as a lot of people know. The C-130 is a notorious bird.
It's very small. Yeah, C-130 is the smallest one. We nicknamed it the 4-fan trash can, but all the C-130 guys will probably get mad at me about that.
I've flown in a lot of them.
Yeah.
But this one is the proper nomenclature is the C5.
So C5M Super Galaxy.
And when you're a crew chief, is that like a pit chief for like NASCAR or something?
So the best way to explain it is I'm
C5 Super Galaxy.
C5 Super Galaxy. Just type in C5M. It's fine. Yeah, it's.
okay.
I mean, it's right there. Just C5M. So there's your Lockheed. So
Okay. Yeah, we're looking at it now.
yeah, so that's the C5M right there. That's actually Dover tail. I started out at Dover for 3.5 years. So that right there, this picture, they're pulling an Apache helicopter off, but it's in the Nelt configuration, so it's lower to the ground.
Okay.
So they've tucked the nose and the main landing gear into the wheel wells there, as you can see.
Yeah,
so the
yeah.
aircraft comes lower, so there's less of a angle to unload any cargo.
out. Yeah, to get the cargo out.
So you can drive directly all the way through it if you want to. So you can drive from into the front and out of the back, or into the back and go all the way.
Realized this.
So go to the picture
The
down
second to the
down
left.
no down in the and go all the way to the right there. Click that.
Okay.
So you can drive vehicles onto it, but
Oh my
I thought that
God.
had it.
This thing's fucking huge, dude.
But yeah, you can essentially see right through it if the front
so
hatch
you can.
were open.
Yeah, if
or
the back
hatch.
if the back was open, you could see daylight. I don't really know. You'd have to find a picture of the back
I feel like
right there.
unloading of the nose.
So
is
that's
a,
the nose.
Oh, this one would be
So
the back.
that's the nose. That's the nose too.
This is the nose too. They're unloading a fucking Chinook out of here.
Yeah, so you can see the daylight right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See the
back
daylight
here.
in the back? That's the daylight.
yeah,
so
yeah.
that portion right there
Yeah, you can see it
is
right
where the
there.
cargo, where you can do. So you got a Chinook. I've seen a CH-53 on there, CH-53 Super Stallion.
Yeah, yeah.
And those things have very little clearance on the top because there's a lot of cables and rigging mechanisms that are on the top.
So do you have to specify for like the 2 specific planes you work on versus other planes?
Yeah,
Is this the CH-53?
Yeah, CH-53 right
Okay,
there.
here we go. And then this is another thing he's seen on as a.
It's like a
payload.
fucking school bus with
Dude,
missiles.
it's fucking huge, bro. Okay, so my to the layman. So what we like to do is in the first couple minutes here, you said all those numbers and letters, what your AFSC is, and we just want to be very clear. So like in layman's terms, in the very beginning here, we like to do like a 60-second pitch of like what is it that you actually do day to day, like who is Joe Greene. Airman Joe Greene.
Okay,
So you get 60 seconds. So what do you do?
Okay, so as a under 2-year staff sergeant, E5 promoted about 2 years ago. I am now an inspector for all the guys that are underneath me. So I have inspection rights. So what that means is, let's say we go out into a job and there's a tire that's out of limits. It's worn, tread, it's got a hole in it, something like that. It's got to get changed. So we go out there. I instruct my guys, my other crew chiefs, or whoever's working with me to go get tools out. They go get tools. We start on forms. We bring forms. We bring tools out to the aircraft. And each aircraft is different in configuration. Either I need jacks. Either I need a jack stand for a pump jack for a C5, or I need to set up integral jacking for a C17. Then I got to figure out which gear is going on. So I got to figure out which tire's bad, so which gear I have to lift up, or which set of tires I have to bring up. Then we have to go to supply, and I have to go get the tire. Everything. So what I'm doing is I'm overseeing all of the operation that's happening for this one tire.
Basically, project management.
I'm project manager of this whole entire thing.
But of maintenance.
Of maintenance of this one job. So we have a pro super, which is over everybody. Then we have an expediter. The expediter tells us what the pro super wants us to do, and then he instructs us, hey, do this. Hey, pick these guys, or he'll have people assigned. I take them. I get everything. I make sure it goes. And then once we go through all the steps in our TO, which is technical orders, through the book, we cover all the steps. We'll do that job. So we're changing the tire. We're pulling a tire off. We're pulling bolts off and everything like that. And then whenever I go, there's IPIs, in-process inspections. So that is where a 7 level comes in. So I'm 7 level. Guys below me are 5 and 3. So there's 3, 5, 7, and 9 skill level. Mm-hmm. So I'm at 7 level since I'm an NCO. So I look in-process inspection. Okay, I gotta look at this. I look at the tire. All right, this is fine. Or I look at the brakes. This is fine. Okay, the axle's not cracked. This is fine. And I go through the steps, and each in-process inspection, there's a couple for each tire or each task that we have to do. So I do that, and then if I say it's good, okay, it's good. And then once I go to the forms, then we sign it off. So I sign the inspected by, they sign the corrected by. I make sure all of the references are good according to the TO to the forms. Sign it off, done. Tire's good.
Send it on up to number 9 to sign off.
Yes, I sign it. So I sign the inspected by. The 9 is just over everything that's happening. I'm in charge of that. So then I signed that job off because I was doing the job with my 3 or 5.
How many levels above 9 are there?
None. That's it.
He's
9.
the top guy. So basically, they tell somebody above the 9 is like, "Hey, man, we've got this planned, that plan, this plan. We need this bird, that bird, this bird, and we need to get these up and running and ready to go tomorrow." So then 9 says to whoever, "Hey, here's our workload."
Mm-hmm.
So and then you're right below the 9.
So you'll have taskers. You'll have, okay, these aircraft have got to fly these missions. Okay, hey, I need this tail number greened up to go. And then they'll have either come in with something broke, or they'll come down with something broke. Especially, they'll either land with something broke, or they'll land and we'll do an inspection and we'll find something broke. So then the pro super is what we call it, which is usually the skill level 9, the master sergeant and above.
Yeah.
He will dictate, hey, I need this stuff done. I need this stuff done. And then he will direct it to the expediter, which is usually a 7 level.
Damn.
So it's tech sergeant, NCO, tech to usually a tech sergeant. So he's E6. So I'm E5, E6, and then you have an E7. So he is the driver. The pro super tells the expediter, hey, I need this stuff done. We need this greened up. And then the expediter will go out on a board as what needs to be done for that day. Yeah. He'll write names, he'll write tasks and everything like that. And then all of us, our responsibility is to look at the board, use some common sense, decipher the information, and go do
make it happen.
Go do the board.
It happen. Use your knowledge. Use your training.
Figure it out. Go do it.
That's interesting, man. So it sounds like as a level 7, as you said, right?
Yep. 7 level. Yeah.
Yes. As a 7 level, it sounds a lot like Thomas just said. You are a project manager, and that's interesting.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not doing a lot of the torque turning, wrench turning, knuckle busting, but you've spent your time doing that before. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I've been in for 6 years. We'll call it 7 months, something like that.
Okay. Damn.
So I went in May 2nd is whenever I left here. May 3rd, I ended up in Lackland. That's whenever I went to basic. I went to Dover, Delaware for 3.5 years. And then in 2019, I got orders to Ramstein, Germany. So I've been in Ramstein, Germany for 3 years. I should get orders within the next month. Then I leave next March, so we'll figure out where I'm going within the next month.
Don't be upset. We're going to rerun you through all of that again here in a minute.
That's what I figured.
But in the very beginning of the show, we like to get an idea of just basically who the guest is.
What they do.
Of course, we know who you are and what you do. But like for the listener, who are you? What are they about to listen to? And what do they expect to learn from you? So that's a very good summation. In the very beginning, though, we do like to do a death of the week. And you've not listened to any of the episodes before.
Very small amounts.
So we do a death of the week, and it's a small segment we like to dedicate to an unfortunate soul that has recently passed away, or maybe even in history passed away, depending on if it pertains to the individual that we're interviewing. But this week, this does not pertain to the Air Force whatsoever. I just happened to catch a news clip of it, and I had to bring it up. So, this week's Death of the Week brought to you by Corn Dog Development, these super dope coasters. Tommy likes to use them. He likes to use them for his beverages. He likes to use them to train his puppy with as a throwing star across the room when she's doing something he doesn't want her to do.
Right.
They're really, really nifty. Beating your children, your dogs, your mother, your aunt, your Uncle Gary, whatever you're into. Put your drinks on them. Do whatever you want with them. They're super sick, and you get 10% off anything in his store with the link in the description. To his store, use the promo code
Days Grimm for 10%.
10% off. There's that. Super sick coasters. Check them out. So thank you, Corn Dog Development. This week, python swallows woman in plantation in Indonesia. Body of 54-year-old worker found in stomach of 7-meter snake on the island of Sumatra. A woman was found dead in the stomach of a 7-meter-long python at a rubber plantation where she worked in Indonesia, according to local reports. The woman, identified as 54, went to work on the plantation in Jambi province on the island of Sumatra on Sunday morning, and her husband reported her missing when she did not return home that evening. Searching for her on that Sunday night, her husband discovered her sandals, headscarf, jacket, and the tools she used at work, and called for others to help, police told local media. The following morning, a python was spotted nearby. Quote, when the security team at the residence conducted a search around the rubber plantation, then we found a 7-meter long python 7 meters long. It is this snake that is suspected of preying on the victim. After we caught him, we found the victim's body in the snake's stomach, end quote, the local police chief, AKPS Harifa, told the Detrick news site. Dude, okay, so there's a lot going on here. I don't know how to break this down for you.
The lady worked at a rubber factory, not a rubbers factory, first of all.
Did I say rubbers?
No, but that's what I thought right off the rip.
Dude, don't make me nervous like that, because I get so nervous when I read these. He's balls deep in a fucking chocolate payday. Dude, just don't chew in the mic, because listeners don't love that. Dude, I've done that before when I was chewing my banana on mic, and I was like,
Mike Tyson had an episode. He was smacking blueberries right there.
I bet listeners love whenever people are just eating on mic, especially crunchy shit. Like it's just.
Dude, those
okay, this bitch is 7 meters long, dude. That's fucking okay. So a meter is 3 feet 3 inches. Times 7. What is that? Somebody do the shorthand math. 22 feet.
22 feet and 4 inches or
22 feet roughly. It's a 22-foot long fucking python, bro. Okay, here's my question to 54-year-old.
Could you not run?
What's happening here, dude? It's a fucking 30-foot long snake. You don't see this bitch fucking sneaking up on you?
Yeah, I really don't know. Like, how do you get, like, did you fall?
This is why I keep, hey, hold on, check it.
A knife.
This is why I keep a blade on me, dude, because I'll cut that son of a bitch's head off, dude. Straight up. Don't fucking come at me and try to eat me, Mr. Python. I'll cut your damn head off. Dude, I'll tell you what. So my question is, like, do you Do you not have the wherewithal to know that a 30-foot snake is fucking tracking you right now? Do you not understand the fact that like you do live in a third world country and you will potentially die from any given thing around you?
Or the tools for the rubber factory? Like, sure.
Joey, what do you think about that, sir?
It's a big snake.
What do you think? I mean, 22 feet long, bro.
I would say that was this Indonesia?
Indonesia.
More than
yes.
likely, around is scroll back up to the picture there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So around that plant is probably heavily has a lot of vegetation.
Oh, 100%.
So if she's walking around the plant somewhere,
that's a big bitch right there,
snake
dude.
could have been in some tall grass or some tall bushes.
It's hard to miss that though.
I just
She
feel
would
like
go
it can't
squat
be
out
that
there.
fast, right? Yeah, she
Oh,
could have
no.
been going to the bathroom.
She could have been doing something weird, and then
Dropping a poop.
snake could have bit her, and I don't know if pythons are poisonous at all,
They're not.
but if it impaled her in some way, like if
Right.
it bit her and she fell, and it's already got a hold
Probably
of her,
spooked her.
probably spooked her.
if
She
nothing
froze
else.
up.
Yeah.
I mean, grabbed a hold of her and she couldn't get away from it,
It's insane, man.
or it wrapped her up.
Yeah, I bit her once and just held on and wrapped.
Yeah,
What's the biggest python you ever seen? You ever seen a python?
I think I went to the Mesker Park Zoo during trunk or treat one year and saw a python there. That was about it.
Yeah, they
I think
had
the biggest python I ever saw was when Zach Berenson undid his pants. So then there's that. That's this week's Death of the Week, brought to you by Corn Dog Development. Promo code promo code Days Grimm saves you 10%. Links in the description. Check him out, dude. He's doing great stuff. Also, he's very pro. So the snake is out of control, man. Indonesia.
figure it out.
I think they killed him, but also maybe keep a blade on you guys. Just stay ready. That's where we're at here. So
Joe, you went to Wrights?
Mr. Joe.
Oh,
On to you now. Now we're on to you. We're done with the death stuff. So now it's all about you from now on till the show ends.
okay.
So you went to Wrights High School?
Yeah, so
West Side, born
Yeah.
and bred.
FJ Wrights High School.
FJ.
Not
Let's,
the memorial.
what does the
right?
FJ stand for,
Francis
sir?
Joseph.
Francis Joseph. And who is Francis and who is Joseph?
So Francis is his first name. Joseph is his, I'm guessing, middle name. I really have no
and who is Wrights?
So Wrights is the ritziest kind of high school and the ritziest kind of person you're ever going to meet. But Francis Joseph Wrights High School, it's on the hill on top of an abandoned coal mine. They say that the R on the side of the hill covers a door that leads into the coal mine there.
Oh, that's hot. See, you're telling me shit about. I've lived here on the west side my entire life, and I've never heard any of this shit.
So I have never proven that theory. I don't know. That's what I've heard. But also,
all the high school kids at Wrights figured it out.
well, but
I'm not doing any
And also-
fucking supplementary digging around fucking the high school fucking grounds, dude.
and also West Side was a big has a big German population.
Yes, 100%.
So I think at that point in time, so Francis Joseph was a German descent. So is modern day. I mean, a lot of the stuff around here is
Right.
German, but that used to be mined by German descendants out there. Pretty sure, not 100% positive.
I
All the
like
West
where your
Siders
head's at.
will probably give me a history lesson after this. But that coal mine was mined years and years and years ago by I think German descendants. that were out
And
here.
you didn't play sports through high school, but you attended a lot.
No, yeah, I did.
What'd you play?
Okay, so elementary school, I played basketball and soccer. Middle school, I played WSIL baseball. The top worst teams that I probably
You were on the best of the worst
I
teams?
was on the best of the worst.
There
but,
you go.
Man, we had a lot of fun out there.
It's better than being the worst.
I played Cub football. Or sorry, I played EGFL.
Oh, I love EGFL.
Yeah,
that's where I played.
I can't remember what team I played on. It's been so long.
Played on the Wildcats. Kind of a
I don't
stud.
think I played the Cardinals. I don't think I played on the Cardinals.
Do you remember the color?
I think the Cardinals. Maybe I played on the Cardinals.
Maybe.
Cardinals were red.
I think I played on the Cardinals. Maybe
Okay.
that was my little brother's football team. Anyway, we went to the Cereal Bowl at one point in time. We went to the Cereal Bowl.
the cereal bowl.
We did. We went to the Cereal Bowl and we played. I think it was the Lions, and Nate Tidwell was their quarterback, and everybody was scared to tackle Nate Tidwell because the dude at
Massive.
seventh grader.
Yeah.
6th, 7th grader, that guy was like 6 foot tall. Nobody wanted to hit him or
Right.
whatever. So
Yeah.
he just run over all the little kids that we were.
He's a collegiate level quarterback
Yeah.
at 7th grade.
Yeah,
that's fine.
pretty much. So he ran us over and we lost the Super Bowl. We played it up at the bowl whenever they had grass before the turf.
Like 97 to fucking 3. Probably.
I have no idea. It was terrible.
Maybe you got a field goal.
Maybe we got a field goal. But no, so we played that.
Dang, dude. Tidwell, shout out, dude.
Yeah. So he was the quarterback. We lost the Lions. So the next year, I played on the Cub team, the Wrights Cub team, my 8th grade year, and then I played freshman year, and I played sophomore year, and I played junior year. Yeah, football. So Wrights football. So I played football through high school.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big deal to make it onto the team. So did you ever get starting time?
Starting time, no.
It's a big deal to get starting time for the Wrights Panthers.
I was going up against people like we had Big Mike Clemens.
Oh,
we had
shout out to Mike Clemens, dude.
We had McIntosh was playing.
McIntosh,
Tezzy was playing. I mean, all those guys were big.
What was your position?
So I played tight end. I played tight end. I played defensive end. And I played wide receiver during EGFL teams, but the EGFL years. I played a little bit of tight end, JV, and then I played defensive end mainly is what I played
in high school.
In high school. So I was going up against everybody else that was already big and built for the line, for defensive line and everything like that.
And somewhere in this high school period, you actually discover flying planes.
Okay, so
how do we get
football?
to that?
Still the football thing.
Okay.
Sophomore year, we won our state championship,
right?
Which was
2000
and for 4A, right?
2009, 2010.
Yeah, 4A. So we went 15-0 that year. I remember that, playing up in Lucas Oil there. The field's like a bed. It's nice there.
Yeah,
but the first play that we got kicked off to, they threw a trick play. McIntosh threw the ball out to the wide receiver on the right hand side of the field, and then threw it across the field to I think Kuda was the receiver or something like that on the other side of the field. Anyway, we tricked them. That was the first play of the game, and then that set the tone for the entire game. So they were just losing the entire time. But anyway, to the flying thing.
How do we get there in high school?
Okay, so
you're in high school and you experience when flying comes into your world.
So
you're in high school.
So high school was late flying year. 8th grade was whenever I started.
Oh, late flying. So you started flying in the
8th grade. 8th grade is whenever I figured all this out. So 8th grade we had to do
we got
survey.
Kids flying before they can drive. What is happening? Like as a country, what is happening?
Yeah, you could start flying at 14 and get your license at 16.
We have fucking 14-year-olds flying aircraft, and yet we fucking let 16-year-olds barely fucking drive at 16 3/4. What? Okay, hold on. PSA, America. Just fucking figure. Okay, just here's a hypothetical situation for you. If you can fly a plane, you can fly a fucking car. Throwing it out there. Anyways, not to derail the story. Get you a Grippo, dude. Right. So you go from he's
like
get your chew on over there.
So
dude.
Does somebody in your family fly planes, or
nobody in my family flies. The only person that was in the military in my family was my uncle. He was in the Navy. He was in submarines. But he's only there for about 4 years.
Under the water. Quite the opposite.
Under the water, yeah. So nobody else
below the ground.
Nobody else in my family was military or flies aircraft. So in 8th grade, I went to Helfrich Park.
Shout out
there. Yep, Rob Spear, the best history teacher ever.
West Side. Hey, Rob Spear,
Mr.
represent,
Rob Spear.
dude. Hopefully he's still alive.
Mm-hmm. He's around. I think he does landscaping.
Maybe. Lawnscaping. He's doing landscaping.
He's doing landscaping.
That's landscaping is good.
Landscaping's good hard work.
He's giving haircuts to grass.
Dude. Honestly, really just giving the fade.
Yeah. So fading it out. Let's see here.
Hard part in the sidewalk.
Okay, so 8th grade, yeah. You know all those lines or whatever. You got the little edger things. That's what you do on the sidewalks and everything like that.
Go ahead, you're fine.
Low fade,
yeah, dude.
Low fade.
I need a nice line up here, dude. Let me get a nice line going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So 8th grade year, we had to fill out career surveys. It was a blue book. A lot of people that went to Helfrich, they probably remember this. So we fill out this book. Tells you what you want to do with your future. I'm like, I don't know what age I was, like 14.
Beat the Nazis.
15. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the fill in the blank bubbles or whatever. Beat the Nazis was in there. It was at the very bottom.
World War II's been over for 40 years.
It was like other
help give France a backbone.
Something like that. So what I did was I filled this out. I was interested in construction and law
Yeah.
enforcement and
Yeah,
police and military and stuff like that. So I filled this out.
Just
After you
kicking
get
ass
that-
mostly.
Yeah,
Just kicking
what
ass.
14-year-old boys want to do.
Just kicking
Yeah,
ass.
stuff like that. So what they did was after you fill this out, you get a field trip, whatever's available. So I went to the Wayne Caterpillar dealership over on Lynch out there, and we toured their facility. They had service department, sales, and stuff like that. So we did that. After that, a couple weeks later, I get these.
Like pamphlets, essentially.
I get these letters from a police, a fire, and an aviation explorer post. So these things exist. So let's take it this way.
I assume they exist if they're sending you letters.
No, I mean at this point in time they existed.
Hold on,
So-
guys. Get your tinfoil hats out. They might not exist.
So
hold on, dude.
at this point in time, they
Jury's
existed.
out.
And you can join these different posts.
Yeah.
And you can see what it's like to do a career
Oh, neat. Okay.
in that. So you do fire drills, you do police drills, and stuff like that. Well, the Aviation Explorer post sent one. It's like, well, I can start fires and kicking doors all
Right.
the time.
Easy.
And shoot guns.
Easy, dude.
14-year-old.
Anybody can start a fire.
Yeah, anybody can. So at the Aviation Explorer post, if you go there and you join, you get a free intro flight. So they take you up in an airplane that's sponsored by Tri-State Aero out there at the FBO. So
What's the FBO?
fixed base operation. So Tri-State Aero is so like you
It's
have
off
the
St. Joe,
Evansville.
right?
Yeah, no, it's at the airport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tri-State Aero. Yeah, they have a
Tri-State
big
Aero.
hangar out there.
Yeah, so-
It
Yeah,
says
behind
Tri-State.
So
Anchor.
Evansville Regional is the airport. Tri-State Aero is the FBO with all small planes,
Right.
corporate flying. It's
Right
like
there
its own
behind.
business. Flight school and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll get to that later. So I got letters sent there. I went to the meetings. It was on a Sunday. Went to the meetings, and there's a lot of people there that I went to school, that were in high school with me
Right.
or in 8th grade
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
knew that I didn't know that was in this. So I went there, and there's a group of people already there. There's like 12 or 15 people in this room.
Sick.
And you're like, you bastards been
Went
holding
there.
out.
Yeah,
You were
went
like,
there.
Jeremy, what's up, dude?
Went there, figured this out. Got a free intro flight.
Yeah.
We took off from there, and after we took off, he let me fly it from the airport all the way to the riverfront and around the east side, and then we came back. He
Never
let-
having experience.
never
He-
having experience.
He just let you like, hey, take the wheel.
The thing about it is
Once you're already up, it's cakewalk.
yeah, you know the guy that's flying is not going to let you kill him,
Right.
you and him at all. They're not going to let you kill you.
I feel like the most crucial parts of flying are takeoff and landing.
Oh yeah, that's the most strenuous part of it.
Dangerous parts.
Yeah. So you're watching your instrumentation while keeping the plane level.
I don't want to get
while
too
keeping
into
the
detail
throttle.
yet.
Yeah. So
But that I
Yeah.
feel like that is the most strenuous part. So
Yes.
like once you're up in the air, he was like, "Hey kid,
yeah, it's fine.
it's fine. Just don't push up or down. You're fine. It's fine. Actually, do whatever you want. Just
Yeah.
fucking yanking around a little
But
bit, dude."
that was 8th grade year. That was how I got into aviation. And from there, I went to various different air shows. I went to
And
Middle Tennessee. I
for
went
the
to Louisville.
listeners not in the Evansville area, the Blue Angels come into town every year. They have since we were little.
Yeah, the Blue Angels have come here a couple times. They've come to Owensboro a couple times, Owensboro, Kentucky. Thunderbirds have been here. They
Right.
do other various stunt aircraft and stuff like that. Yeah, they had, I don't know if, I can't remember if they had the air show.
I'm just saying, there's
This past
like an
year,
air show every
they've
year,
been-
every
yeah,
other year in the
yeah.
area.
Yeah, whenever they're able to do
Okay,
it.
so you do this little like entry level, and then that's when the passion takes over. You're like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Yeah,
that
that's
was the moment.
that's also how I figured out what I wanted to do in the military too. So the first time I saw a C5 aircraft was whenever I was at an air show. I was like, that would be cool to work on, or that would be cool to be around. So like I wanted to join the Marine Corps.
Right.
Every young boy was like, no, I want to join the Marine Corps. I want the Marines. Yeah, I want to join the Marines. It's like, gotta join the Marines.
But you actually have to walk into the Marines. You have to actually walk into the Marines with an erection, or they won't sign you. That's just what I've heard, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
And a pack of crowns.
Yeah, I think you actually have to have a pack of crowns and an erection before they'll even consider signing you.
Yeah.
So,
and
I'm-
you can't come up with like playmate stuff. You got to come up with some Crayola stuff.
Yeah. It's got to be key, and you've got to be full throttle, like no half chub shit. It's got to be fucking
Right. Like 3 Viagra's deep.
So
have to-
you're
you have to
you're
wear-
thinking Marine Corps.
Like ears on your necklace and stuff like that. Yeah.
Dude, I've got 5 confirmed kills already. It's like, dude, you're a serial killer. We're calling the police. So you're thinking Marine Corps as a kid, and this is after you've already flown?
No, this is this is like middle school. And stuff like that. This is before.
Okay, so now you've flown.
So now I've flown and
Now you're thinking Air
I've seen
Force.
other aircraft. Now I'm like, oh, this would be cool to work on. So then I turned my sights to
Air Force.
Air Force.
And so in high school, you're also like So basically, do you have to pay to like take classes to fly as a hobby? Or?
So all through high school, it was all just air shows and everything like that. Some flights here and there. I didn't start flight training until 2011, which was my senior year. So I played football until junior year. I didn't want to play football senior year because I wasn't thinking about going to college right after. I wasn't thinking about going there at all, playing anything. So I knew I wasn't getting any scholarships. I wasn't going to pursue football.
Right.
So then I got into flight school. So a buddy of mine, Luke Carrico, he's now an air show announcer. He started taking.
Shout out, Luke.
Yeah, he started taking flight training in I think August, September timeframe and everything like that.
Okay.
At Boonville Airport. There's a grass runway out there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
2,300 feet long by 75 feet wide.
I already know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
out there, grass runway. So we went out there. He started flight training, and then I got into it October. I think October 20th was my first flight
Of 2011.
of 2011. Was my first intro flight. Not my first lesson, my intro flight. The other two were ground school. So my first flight was October 20th, 2011.
So describe the difference between the ground school and actually getting into the bird and doing some.
Is ground
learning.
school just like
So ground school is on the ground. You're looking at things on the aircraft from the perspective of you've never seen this before. I'm pointing this stuff out to you. This is information. So we did pre-flight stuff.
And
So this is what you need to look at on looking at the checklist. Okay, this right here, this is the cow flaps. Okay, you need to look at the hardware. You need to make sure the latches are good. You need to make sure it's not damaged, no dents, no scratch, stuff like that. So you're going through the checklist and you're making sure everything is correct.
and you're learning like how to read headwinds, what to do in the wind.
That's later. This is like you've never looked at an airplane
Intermediate.
before.
This is very remedial.
You're dumb. I'm trying to teach you how to figure out what if paint
So
is
it
changed.
sounds a lot like this would be the level that you would start at.
right, essentially, yeah.
So you're very dumb, and then just like here's what an airplane looks like.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, I've never seen one of these.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much. That's how it is.
Right.
Because a lot of these people come and they're like they've never seen an airplane before. Or like they have no idea the concept of any of it. So it's like, okay, this is a fuel tank. You take the cap off,
machines.
and inside of this little hole right here, inside of this hole right here is going to be decomposed dinosaurs. So this dinosaur juice right here is supposed to take this little metal bird thing into the air or whatever.
Okay. So then you get into the plane. How long does ground school last?
It varies. So there's some schools that like to do all of your ground school at one time. You take the written test, which is like your driver's test.
Right.
You study the book. You take a test. They see if you're stupid or you're smart enough to drive a car, or you're too dumb to do it, and then they keep giving it to you. So you take the written test, then you go do all the flying portion. Some portions, like my instructor did, we did a ground school. We learned maneuvers. We did this. We talked about it, and then we went flying it. So
How many flights do you do before they let you go up solo?
depends. Depends on how proficient you are. Depends on their comfort
How
level.
quick you learn.
Yeah. So I don't know how many flights I did. I'd say around about 20 to 25 hours, which is pretty normal until I went solo.
So
you're
something
not
happens
You're
soon.
not dumb or smart, is what you're saying. You're
Exactly.
very in the middle, and that's
Yeah.
good. That's what I want my pilot to be. I don't
Yeah,
want my
I'm a-
pilot to be a
yeah.
genius.
And I'm like I'm a jack of all trades, but master of none. That's,
I like
that's what they
that. I
call
like
it.
that
That's
because
what
if
they
you get a
call it.
genius in the cockpit, he's like, I've only
overachiever.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
like, I've only
I know
done
everything.
I've only done 6 flights, and now I'm
There's- you know
flying
that-
on my own. And then the wing falls off, and he's like, hold on, guys, let me get out of the cockpit and attach it with some bubble gum. And
That's-
it's like, no, dude.
You know, that's
no.
only half the phrase, though. A
do you
jack of all trades,
Okay,
but a
what's the rest
master
of
of
it?
none.
What's the other half of the saying?
It's something. Fuck, I'm blanking
Oh,
now.
look,
But
why would you
it's
even bring it up then?
I don't know, but I know that there's more to it.
Okay, so anyway, so you do about 20. Yeah, he maybe should not be a pilot.
Well, no, so some.
Maybe not.
I remember something happens.
You got the weather? Yeah, I got the weather. It's like, did you see this portion where there's frost and heavy, severe thunderstorm? Oh, I didn't read the other half of the
I'll just go above
I
the
don't
clouds.
know. I don't know. I know the first half though. Really good.
I know it's windy.
I
and
know
there's
the-
clouds here, but I didn't know that there was all this rain here.
Okay, so anyway, so you do about 20 flights, and then you get to fly on your own.
Well,
20 hours.
Or 20
Not
hours.
25. Yeah,
Okay,
20
so
hours of
20
flying.
hours of flight with an instructor with you, and then you get to fly on your own.
After you pass a medical.
So, my question to you is,
Yes.
what is the first thought that crosses your mind once wheels leave the ground and you're in that plane by yourself?
Okay, so
What is the first thought that, like, in your head, you don't have to say it out loud. Maybe you did say it out loud or whatever it is, but what's that first thought in your head where you're just like, I'm flying by myself?
So the first solo experience I had, it was on a hot day. Me and my instructor did 3 takeoff and landings, and I was about to go up by myself.
Mhm.
and I pushed the throttle forward, and the bowl float inside the carburetor.
Yeah, we know what that
stuck.
is. No, I don't know what that is.
Stuck open.
I don't know what that
So whenever
means.
I pushed the throttle open, the aircraft died. I rolled 20 feet, the aircraft died.
Oh, no.
So that was my first solo experience.
So you're
we
not even
got
off
out-
the tarmac?
Not even off tarmac yet.
Okay.
Not even off the grass field. My second solo experience was whenever I actually flew the aircraft. Okay. So we go out there. I actually take off.
Mm-hmm.
Airplane's fixed at this point in time. So the first thing is you don't think at all. You're so fixated on all the instruments and all the switches and all the radio calls that you don't even remember that you're in the air. It takes till about maybe the second or third landing that you're like, oh, I'm actually doing this. It's like I'm actually in the air. I'm controlling this 1,100 pound metal bird with 30 gallons of fuel in this thing, talking to other people on this frequency that I can't see that are miles away, talking to a guy sitting in a concrete tower miles away in the opposite direction, and then doing this. You're doing 20 things at one time, and you're trying to steer clear of this and try to steer clear of this and watching the obstacles on the ground and watching everything, and then you're trying to figure out all your speeds and everything. So it's overwhelming whenever you do everything, but then it becomes really overwhelming because you can't look over and be like, hey, what am I doing wrong? You can't look at your instructor because you're the only person. You are the instructor and the pilot of this aircraft.
So senior year, I remember sitting at old Walmart.
Oh, you're not going to bring up the... Are you bringing up the bad time
that
he had?
Yeah,
Oh,
you got to.
Okay.
You're in air and something goes wrong.
Talk about this experience with the so your senior year, is that what you said, or your senior year? Somebody's senior year.
We were in the same, I believe.
We were in the same class, but it was 2013 that this happened. So it was after we graduated.
Okay, so walk me through it. What happens?
Okay,
What's the instance?
What he's talking about is, first of all of us hung out at the Westside Walmart parking lot.
Right, that was
Shout
the place.
out. So I went out for a flight that day.
Anyway, whistle it up, dude. Get that whistle wet.
I went out for a flight that day, and it was supposed to be a night flight that night, which means you fly out the hours of darkness and you train with the depth perception and the visual of it being dark, landing on a runway whenever it's dark, or looking at the landscape when it's dark and navigating at night. Because your depth perception and your sight changes at night and everything like that. Drastically.
Yeah, drastically.
So, this is supposed to be a night flight. So I went out to Boonville. I got out there hours before my instructor. I was bored. I had no life. Anyway, so I get out there. I sit out there, the airport. I was like, I'm tired of sitting on the ground.
And this is still the one out in Boonville.
This is still the one out in Boonville.
The one that I've been to.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is all in Boonville. So I went out there and I was like, I texted my instructor. He's like, hey, can I do some takeoff and landings? It was like that before, just to kill time. He's like, okay, that's fine. It's like, how much fuel do you have? He went out of his checklist, all student pilots. What are you doing? How much fuel do you have on board? And everything like that. He wanted a checklist. He's like, let me know when you take off. Let me know when you land. So he knows the plane's in. I mean, it's a big investment. He's got a lot of aircraft and a lot of riding on this.
Is it his aircraft?
It's his aircraft.
He owns it.
He owns these aircraft.
So okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, we'll go on after that.
Yeah.
So I get everything done. Checklist. I have like 25 gallons of fuel, which is more than enough of doing 3 local pattern flights.
You're not going far.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just staying in the pattern and coming back down and landing. So get out there, do the checklist, get ready to take off, get on the runway, throttle up, electric boost pump, mixture, everything.
None of this means anything to Thomas or I.
I understand.
But
so
basically,
follow the checklist, making sure the aircraft is ready to take off.
He's like, yeah, the flux capacitor's good. We're fucking set to rock steady on the fucking Ming-Nok fucking gauge. It's like, dude, what's happening here? So anyways, everything looks good to you.
So everything's fine.
On
checklist wise, everything's good. So start running down the runway, get about halfway up the runway, pull it off from the ground effect, or get it off the runway.
Yep.
And then level off for ground effect. You build it, you level it off a couple feet off the ground to make sure you have good speed, and make sure you have positive climb right there. So it's going. I start getting to my VX. So I start pulling. Start pulling up.
VX?
I think.
Velocity.
So there's VX and VY. So there's best angle and there's best rate. I think VX is best rate and VY is best angle.
Okay.
I may be wrong.
But you're at the point.
I'm at the point to where I've taken off. I've taken off. I'm off the ground. I'm leveling off. Okay, I'm at my speed that I can ascend. I can start pulling up.
Yeah.
So I start pulling up. I'm going. I'm watching. I'm watching my gauge, watching it climb, watching my VSI, my vertical speed indicator, everything like that. Watching my altitude, watching out the wings because there's fields and then tree lines and everything like that.
So you got to be conscious of that.
Yeah, just watching obstacles, everything, watching out. So I'm taking off, and about 100 feet in the air, above the ground, engine stalls, locks up, stops.
What happens? What do you mean it stalls and like it just quits?
It locks up, it just quits.
Just shut off.
Quit.
No sound.
No sound. Nothing.
And you're going probably like 150 plus.
How 65. 60, 65
not that
knots
bad.
or something like that. Not very. I'm
65 knots?
Yeah. So I'm taking off.
What is that in miles per hour?
I think a knot is like 1.7 miles an hour or something like that. Yeah, you can look it up.
Okay, so you were going 60.
So I'm going 60. I'm going 60. We'll just say in layman terms. I'm going 60 miles an hour.
We'll go 65 knots. Go ahead and keep going.
So I'm going 65 miles an hour, whatever, knots up in the air. So I'm taking off. Yeah, so 75 miles an hour.
75 miles an hour.
So I'm taking off 75 miles an hour. So I'm taking off at 100 feet, locks up. Everything goes quiet. So I can't see the blade turn anymore, and you can't feel the vibration. If you ever flown a small aircraft or any aircraft, you can feel the vibration whenever it's on. I stopped feeling the vibration, and I stopped feeling that movement forward. Like it wasn't pulling you anymore.
You're like a glider now.
Yeah. So I'm still at a high angle of attack. Because I'm taking off.
How high off the ground do you think you are?
I'm 100 feet, something like that.
100 feet.
So I've lost visual on the tree line because it's disappeared underneath the wings.
Yeah.
Because I'm at that point to where I can't see them out of the corner of my eye.
Right, you're going up.
Yeah, I'm going up. So at that point in time, I had 100
and
feet in
again,
the air.
this is nighttime.
No, this is during the day. This is before. I was going for a night flight.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm by myself. I'm solo pilot at this point in time. So it's daytime.
Okay. And you've done some training for this, I assume?
I mean, I've solo. So I'm at probably 25, 30 hours or something like that. So this is not new.
Right.
It's not brand new. So I've done 25, 30 hours, something like that. Take off 100 feet, engine dies. So the first instinct is making sure that it doesn't fall over itself. It doesn't stall, it doesn't flip, and everything like that. So I just level it out.
Keep control.
Yeah. So I just push the nose, level, and at that point in time, it's already falling. It's lost momentum.
You're just you're trying.
I'm at an upper angle, and it's starting to fall at this point in time.
So nose down and glide.
So I barely let the nose down because I don't want it to accelerate because a football field away is a tree line.
Right.
And if anybody knows where Boonville Airport is, there's one portion if you go, I think it's 927. If you go towards Evansville,
it's
you take off
like 925 south or some shit.
Yeah. So if you take 9 out, which goes
towards Boonville.
Yeah. So one portion goes towards Evansville, which is there's just a field out there, and the other one goes towards the field and a tree line in a neighborhood.
This may actually be it.
That's not it. That has nothing to do with not at all. Nope.
It's all grass.
None of that. Nope. None of these are Boonville because these are all paved runways.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's grass.
It's a grass runway.
Boonville, Indiana Airport.
Yeah.
That. They are all. Oh, this looks like it. No,
that's not it. Nope.
No.
They're probably just gonna have better luck on Google Maps. Anyway, so one portion is a field, and the other portion is it's a field, tree line, neighborhood. So I'm taking off towards the tree line in the neighborhood. So if I pushed it too far down, it would have accelerated and maybe swooped into the tree line. I would have run out of room to get it onto the ground. So all I did was pull it level and let it float down and grab the flap handle. So flap handle's in the middle of the mechanical flap handle. It's not electric. So I grab the flap handle to make sure I'm keeping as much lift underneath the wing so it doesn't slam into the ground.
It's a cushion.
Yeah. But by that time, I'm doing all that stuff. The trees start growing.
No.
So I get out of my peripheral visions. I can start seeing the trees coming up. So in that, it felt like forever falling. But then within that 15, 20 seconds of it falling and hitting the ground, it's just pulling it, holding the flap handle and holding it level, and then the trees start growing. And then it hits the ground, and it rotates 90 degrees. So I'm in the line, So I'm in line, it hits, and then it rotates, it bounces, and rotates 90 degrees.
And it slides.
Yeah, so I'm sitting perpendicular to if I was on by the runway. So the nose gear breaks off. I break wing spars. I break 3 rods on the engine mount and everything like that. Didn't have a prop strike. Prop didn't hit. Which is wild.
Prop strike.
Hitting the propeller. Yeah, the propeller didn't bend. It didn't.
If you would have hit that, it probably would have flipped as well.
No.
Okay.
No.
It just broke off.
Sounds expensive.
I didn't bend it. Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
Because they can take that off and they can use it for the next aircraft.
Right.
Stuff like that. So there's a guy that's working on the aircraft, and if anybody ever flies or has been to a little airplane, it's like a little community. It's like race cars.
Yeah.
Like you never, if you are
Like a drag
like
strip.
cars,
Yeah.
like cars. You go to a car meet. It's like everybody you've seen a Honda Civic, you've seen a Camaro. The guy does a burnout. You're not going to sit there and not watch it. You're going to watch it. It's like, oh yeah, he's done a burnout. I've seen a Mustang do 200 burnouts. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to do that at little airports. Right. They watch the plane take off. It's like they watch the plane take off like they've never seen an airplane at all. So they watch plane take off. He's like, okay, it's gone. And whenever he turned around, this is how he told me. Whenever he turned around, he heard the engine quit.
Stop.
And he looked back, and at that point in time, he was looking back. He started watching me fall. And that's whenever he got in his truck and started driving down the runway
To get to you.
to get to me. So by the time I hit the ground and shut everything off and got out and went to the end of the cornfield, he was already 3/4 of the way down the runway because he watched me fall out of the sky.
So what was that? Were you scared for a bit to get back in a plane? Or
No, I think I had to deal with insurance and some other stuff, investigation, FAA and blah, blah, NTSB for about a month or so. I think 2 weeks later, I flew over the Fall Festival.
How mad was the guy? Because that's his plane.
Student pilots, brand new pilots, they do dumb stuff or whatever.
Is this like his student plane?
This is his personal aircraft.
His only aircraft.
So no, he had two airplanes at this point in time. I think he was working on a third one. So he has two aircraft.
But he wasn't pissed at you.
He was more so glad that you were okay. Yeah,
stuff happens. It's a mechanical car. You can drive your mom's car. Let's say they bought a $60,000
and a
Lexus
rod blows out.
Yeah. Rod blows out, or the wheel bearing blows off down the highway, and you total it.
It's not your fault.
It happens. You can't. So the thing about it is they couldn't. Since it was small aircraft, I only killed corn. Didn't kill anybody. Didn't kill myself. Didn't damage any. The only property I damaged was corn.
Right.
There. All the insurance had to pay for was the loss of property damage to the corn, the loss of the aircraft, and then all the mechanical fees and stuff like that. So you can look it up as the NTSB report, the National Transportation Safety Board. So you can look it up as the tail number, and this is where N5538 Foxtrot comes in.
Oh,
Piper,
shit, here we go.
Piper is the manufacturer.
Okay.
N, which is November, which stands for North America, tail number. N5538 Fox is the tail number of the aircraft that I crashed. So you can go on Google, type in N5538 Fox.
Do you want to do that right now?
And it'll have the registration. It'll have the incident report. Yeah,
what is it?
November 5538 Fox. So that's the aircraft right there.
This is the one you bottomed out.
No, so that's Fox. No, so the blue one, go down, down, right there. That's the blue.
Oh, that's hard to tell.
Yeah, so that's the aircraft right there. It's a Piper Cherokee 140. So that's what it is.
This is the one you bottomed out.
Right.
So this is the type aircraft. That's not the exact one.
Yeah, because this is a whiskey.
Yeah, so that's the type aircraft. It's a Piper Cherokee 140. Very basic, very economically friendly aircraft. You could buy any of these things from in between $20,000 to $30,000, depending if you want IFR capability.
Wow.
They're four-seater, 140
That's
horse
really
aircraft.
That's really reasonable.
Right there. So you can buy these things. They're very nice aircraft. They're very comfortable. The one thing about it is since it's a lower fixed wing, they have a thing. There's a mechanical boost pump
versus a wing that comes off the cab.
Yeah. So there's a high fixed and there's a low fixed wing. So Cessna's pretty much all
like the one in the background.
Fixed. Yeah. That's a light sport, but yes. So that's a high fixed wing in the background.
Yeah.
That's a low fixed wing. So high fixed wing has gravity fed fuel. So you always have positive fuel pressure all the time because there's a mechanical boost pump. The low fixed wings like Pipers and stuff like that have a low fixed wing, so they're not gravity fed. So whenever you had a high angle of attack, the fuel is going backwards, not towards the engine. So you have an electric boost pump. So you have to turn the electric boost pump. Yeah. So you have to turn the electric boost pump on. A lot of people that have engine failures at high angle attacks forget to switch the on.
Here's another common.
Yeah. So that's a Cessna 172
another
right
common,
there. Skyhawk.
Everyone has seen this plane before.
I've flown multiple.
How many hours of flight do you think you have before you go to basic?
Basic?
Yeah.
Boot camp or whatever Air Force calls it.
Oh, I had my pilot's license by then. I left 6 months. We'll call it 70,
and so,
75.
Did you choose not to be a pilot and just choose to work on them, or was there?
I can't be a pilot because I have a bachelor's degree. So to commission, you have to have a 4-year bachelor's degree.
So they're all officers.
They're all officers
that are flying.
Fly boys are all.
They
officers.
won't send you to school.
So I could go to school. Okay. I could either go to school on my own dime before and then commission, or I could go enlist, do online school, or get out after 4 or 6 years, use my GI Bill, go to school, and then come back in.
Okay.
How old are you?
29.
So why don't you?
So I
Yes.
am.
You are.
Yeah.
Is this a goal of yours?
So what's happening is I'm pursuing flying cargo aircraft in the military and on the outside. So like I said, joined in 2016, didn't start school until 2022, 2020. Yeah, 2020. So I'm only in school for a couple years. So I'm doing online school.
and you're going at probably a slower rate because
I'm going at a slower rate. So
you're
I can,
working full time while doing this.
So I can only take 6 classes a year. So my tuition assistance, that's what they allow you. You can take FAFSA, which is like a federal grant, or you can pay on your own dime.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Embry-Riddle as a Embry-Riddle for a aeronautics degree. So Bachelor of Science in Aeronautics.
Yeah.
So the best way to describe it is the science of flight.
Yeah, that's
How things fly. It's very general.
Yeah, it's
Very general.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
But the Air Force will accept that and say like,
The
hey,
Air Force will accept you as having a liberal arts degree or a history degree.
No, they won't.
They don't care about the type of degree you have, as long as you have a 4-year degree. I know people that have a history degree that are pilots that don't want to be pilots, but that was the slot that was open, and that's what they got. So they don't care what kind of degree it is.
What
So
the fuck?
what-
I didn't want to be a pilot, but I'm just flying these
It
dope
doesn't
ass
matter.
jets.
I know. There's a guy. I talk to a C5 drivers. I talk to C17 guys, pilots all the time. They're like, "Yeah, I have a bachelor's in this," and then I became a pilot because that was the job that was open.
I just didn't.
I was like,
I don't want to be here.
I'm just doing this as a job.
Did you ever play flight sim as a kid or anything like
Oh
that?
yeah, I've played. I mean, every
You
kid
still
has played.
play it?
Yeah, I have flight sim. So
That's awesome.
I have the new flight sim, and I have like a joystick and controllers, but I don't spend a lot of time on it because I could fly real actual
Right.
airplanes.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
So
Is
that's a
like
good
when
question,
you
actually. Yeah.
when you first go to Germany, was it hard to find a place that would let you fly?
No, there was already somebody that had an air club out there. So
Okay.
there's Coleman Air Club, which used to be an army is still an army installation out there, but the air club has moved from Coleman. They moved from Coleman to Mines.
What's
Mines,
the name of it again?
Coleman, COL, man, COLE, man. Yeah, Coleman Aero Club,
Germany.
Germany. Yeah.
Neato, dude.
So those are the aircraft that I fly right there.
So you're doing
flight training out
I'm
there.
trying to get an overall look of the. Is there only one base that they fly out of?
So it's only one base. So this is a North American Flight Club. So this is out of the restaurant right here in Worms.
oh, there's a restaurant.
There's
there.
a restaurant
like on the airstrip.
Yeah. Most
Fucking
airplanes.
Germans, dude. They got
Okay.
it figured out,
No,
dude.
so this is every airport. This is every airport. So if you ever talk to a pilot, single engine pilot, and they say, "Hey, you want to go for $100 hamburger?" What that means is, "Hey, you want to go fly to another airport or somewhere else and go to a restaurant and then fly back." We did it all the time to Rough River, all the time. My first
so
week,
cool,
I will tell you
dude.
the crazy experience. The first week that I got my pilot's license, I think on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And that Saturday, we took a group of kids, ages 10 to 13, down to Rough River. This was 4 days after I got my pilot's license. They're like, we're going to take a group of kids. We're going to take 2 airplanes and a group of kids down to Rough River. I'm a brand new pilot of that week.
Yeah.
There is no way a parent would have let their kid get into an airplane
Right.
with a guy that just got his pilot's license 3 days ago.
Hey, I've been doing this for 72 hours. Give me your children.
72 hours ago, I still have they gave me a pilot's license. I still have the paper temporary certificate.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on the plastic card. So
He doesn't even have a
I
fucking
get
card.
three kids in the back, ages 10 to 13. It was 2 brothers and 1 other kid.
Shut the
and we
fuck
get
up,
in this
dude.
little Cherokee from Owensboro,
Yeah.
and we fly down to Rough River, Kentucky.
That's insane.
These
to me.
3 kids getting there.
I want to talk more on the
I want to say, what was it like when you first get to Germany? Was that like a culture shock in a way?
It was wild culture shock. Yes.
Did you get any like chocolate? Did you try a whole bunch of stuff when you first landed?
There's so
or-
much stuff there.
Wiener Schnitzel,
Yeah, there's so much stuff there that it's
prostitutes.
everything is around there. No.
Am I mistaken?
So, Amsterdam.
Is prostitution not legal in Germany?
Amsterdam is in the Netherlands.
So the Netherlands
Oh, okay.
really likes it. So there are. So
He said they really
They do.
So
the
so-
prostitution. You mean?
Yeah.
Everything.
Okay,
So
okay.
let's say I think prostitution and stuff like that is illegal in Germany, but you still have strip clubs and you still have nudie bars that you can go to hook up with girls. So there's this place that's blacklisted for us that we can't go to.
Yeah.
It's a building that's close to a
It's a
Volga
warehouse
It's a building
with no windows.
And what it is it's a pink building, and they have the pink stickers all over. It's like XXX live girls or whatever.
Right.
And you go in the front door and you just hook up with girls that are there, or whatever. But there's
is your
places
kind of
all over the
place,
place.
dude.
There's places like this all over the place. The Netherlands has it to where you walk down the road.
You can just
in,
see
like,
it in the
Amsterdam,
windows.
and you see it in the windows. You
Yeah.
walk down and you look down.
In
because it's
Amsterdam, you go to a
in-
strip club and they dump a box of toys, and they're like, "Go and fuck the strippers with these toys."
So
Jesus.
you walk down, you look down, and there's like, so they have a earth level, so like their basement,
Earth
and they have a
level?
first floor,
Fucking
and second
earth
floor.
level?
It is. So in Germany is like, you don't go on the first floor. Whenever you go in there, it's earth
earth
level.
level. Okay,
The
got
next
it.
floor is first level, and second, third, fourth.
That's fucking
so
silly.
it's weird.
What's
Yeah,
happening.
this is earth level, first, second,
Yeah,
third. So
this is
you walk down
planet
to
Earth,
Amsterdam.
and now you're on the way to space.
You can't take any pictures of these girls
Right.
or whatever.
Of course not.
But you
I
look
mean,
through the windows. You
let's
look
be
through the windows,
respectful,
and you
dude.
just pick which one. And there's a door right by the window.
Damn,
So
dude.
if you want to pick this one, you just walk through the door, and that's it. They close the curtain, and you come
Right.
back out.
got a lot of Asians up there. What's up, dude?
They got a lot of everything.
Dude, that's what's up, dude.
So
Shout out to
what's
Germany
like-
for
what's-
doing it right for a long
What's
time.
what's like your favorite meal over there that you get that like is the shit to you?
German meal. What's your favorite German meal over there?
Favorite German meal. So I had there's a lot of meat. There's a lot of meat over there. So there's a lot of schnitzel.
Is there like some crazy meat that like we can't get here?
Not really. It's all pretty much the same. I mean, they
Right.
have beef, they have pork. They really like pork. Anything that is pork, so bratwurst, all that stuff, big thing over there. They like a lot of bratwurst, and a lot of potato stuff. So, Lebernoodle is like a potato ball, and you
Okay.
put gravy on it, and you cut it. It's really good.
Hell yeah.
And then there's bratwurst. There's different kinds of sausage and bratwurst
Dude.
and stuff like that they
Okay,
have.
now I do have to ask. Do you often find yourself wanting to remind the local populace who won the war? Like, do you wear that hoodie often in Germany?
Yeah, I mean, I've had this since Oshkosh. I went to Oshkosh in July. But the thing about it is the war there. So a lot of it, the newer people, some of the newer people don't even know about how half the stuff in the war is. I mean, they learn it or whatever. But like the older generation has gotten over it. But it's still, depending on who you talk to, may have relatives that fought in the war. And of course, and at my place, adjacent from my house, there is a memorial, World War One,
Wow.
Deutschland soldiers, commemorative of them
Right.
dying and stuff like that. So it's the same thing. Like we have monuments for people that fallen. We have
Is that
monuments and stuff
cool
like
to
that.
see?
It's
I
cool
mean,
to see. So the thing about it is Europe keeps their history. In the States, we like tearing it down. So we tear down like the General Lee statues. We tear down we deface Abraham Lincoln statues. We deface anybody that had anything that was against of what we believe now.
Right.
But we have no idea. We know the history. We know General Lee. Oh, he was a bad Confederate commander.
Right.
He was on the wrong side. He lost the war. So we got to tear down everything. We got to tear down General Lee. We got to tear down everything that had to do with anything that we didn't like. And that's
About
not
our
what history.
past, yeah.
That's not what history is. We've moved on. We've done it. Moved on and stuff like that. They have multiple statues that were about their soldiers that were in the Nazi party. They're still there. They're in the middle of Kaiserslautern, the city. They're in my backyard.
What's Kaiserslautern?
Kaiserslautern is the next major town of where I live in Germany and stuff like that. I live in
It's almost like the way you're explaining it is that like they understand that they lost the war, but they're also understanding of the
and
fact
it's not
that they're
even
German
just
people
it's not
that
even
died.
just the wars, because everybody it's like, oh, you're in Germany, it's like, oh, how sore are they about losing the wars and everything like that.
That's basically my
everybody
question.
everybody now our generation only sees Europe as like, oh, there's only World War I and World War II.
Right.
They don't think of anything else that's happened over their thousands and thousands of years of history.
Right, like the
we're like
Crusades or
250 years as a country.
Yeah.
Their stuff dates back to like
600,
BC.
yeah.
BC. I've seen a priest. They have tablets inside of some of their churches, and they call them doms.
What were they called before Germany? They were like their currency used to be called it.
There was a mark, a Deutsch
No,
mark.
this is before it wasn't Deutschland. Before it was Germany, it was another name. The country was named something else. It wasn't Deutsch.
Doesn't matter. Let's not get hung up on
All right,
it.
either way.
Long. I mean, they've done
multiple
multiple different empires.
God bless you.
They've done multiple different empires, multiple different everything.
Yeah, either
so
way,
Ottoman Empire was one of them.
Ottoman,
Yeah,
that's what
Ottoman
it was.
Empire.
I don't want to get hung up on it.
That's a
Anyways,
long time,
so now you've flown. You got through that in high school. You found a passion for this. Being in the air, you've crashed a plane. I feel like that's more than most pilots can say. Do you feel like most pilots have laid a plane down, or is that a common thing, or what you experience is like a one-off and it makes you a better pilot because of it?
I know a lot of pilots, the single engine pilots, have had engine failures in the air. So the only reason why mine was bad was because I actually had to put the aircraft into the ground, and I destroyed the aircraft. It was totaled. If I had another 500 feet, I would have been able to glide it over
and land it
in a field. It would have been that much of a deal. But me having a total power loss at 100 feet and not having any options and putting it in the ground, that was the only option.
Bail.
But I know some people that have had engine failures at 8,000 feet, and they're either we're able to start the aircraft or make it to a runway.
Right.
So it's not uncommon.
It's not common, but it's not uncommon because it's a mechanical aircraft. You got to think of it. The mechanics of it. It's a
You're gonna have
mechanical
mechanical
being. You're going to
failures.
have failures.
Right.
Not everything's going to work all the time.
Not everything's going to work all the time.
But so you're at a very early age or a very early stage of your piloting career, you have this hiccup, and you work your way through it, and then like we said, it was 2 weeks later, and you were flying over Fall Festival. Was it 2 weeks later?
It was something within the month.
But you weren't scared to get back in the cockpit.
No.
And that's good, and that shows resiliency, and I like that. I like that in a pilot. And then you get out of that, join the Air Force.
Well, I was gonna say, so like you get to see castles in Europe. Like, have you got to tour any of those, or you just fly over them?
Go with those. We'll do it in chronological order.
Okay.
So,
well, I was just kind of breezing over the whole thing as a whole, but like it's interesting that you have that hiccup, and then that and it doesn't deter you, but it almost.
Yeah, so that was 2013.
It almost seemed like
2 years ago.
It almost seemed like to me, if anything else, it didn't not make you scared, but it almost like
solidified. That's what you wanted to do.
And what you were talking about is you were hearing it. You're in Walmart parking lot.
Right.
So whenever I called, who did I call? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
So
honestly.
the person I called was Berenson.
Oh, Zach Berenson.
It was Zach Berenson because he was one of my pretty good buddies back there. Ellie Bailey, Eric Bell, all those guys were pretty good buddies, and we all hung out in Walmart parking lot.
Yeah,
I got buddies in high school, and then I got Walmart parking lot buddies, and I got buddies from everything like that.
Yeah.
But I called Berenson, and I was like, Berenson's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm at Walmart right now. It's like, you'll never guess what happened. And at this point in time, I'm still freaking out. I'm like nervous,
shaking.
He's like, I had an engine failure, and I just crashed the aircraft in the cornfield. I was like, where are you at? He's like, what'd you do? He's like, I put a plane in the cornfield. Like, where are you at? He's like, I'm at Walmart. So I pull up. I was driving the '89 Bronco. A lot of people remember the Bronco, big black Bronco. So I pulled up and I like broke down there in the parking lot because all of them were there. Berenson was there. Tom there. I mean, a bunch of people were there. He's like, Greene, what happened?
Right.
What happened to it? And I explained it. And it's like, because at that point in time, they're like, you should be dead right now. Yeah, you should be dead. So, but. After I got over that was 2013, long time ago. I got my pilot's license late 2015. I think it was October, something like that. And then I already knew what job I wanted to do in the Air Force. So after that, years before, I went to the recruiter. I was like, hey, I want to finish flight school before I join. So I finished flight school in 2015. 2016 is whenever I joined, whenever I left. So early or late 15, early 16 was whenever I started doing the paperwork. Got on the delayed enlistment program. And then waited there for about a month for my maintenance spot. Maintenance is easy to get into because either nobody wants to do it or there's always because maintenance is big tech field. I mean, you got to think of how many aircraft that the Air Force runs all the time. Yeah, and you got to think how big mine because we have like 6 shops, 6 different shops
on just one day.
Planes are going
constantly coming and going. So the best way to describe it as we are the gas station on the highway whenever you take a road trip. They come from states. And they're going over here.
Yeah, 100%.
In the middle of it is us. So they come here, they get gas on the airplane, they sleep for an overnight. We do the maintenance work, they load or unload their cargo, and then they go to the next place.
Would they
come back?
Would they ever put you on like a boat plane, like like one of the boats,
aircraft carrier?
Yeah, like the carriers or anything like that.
I'm in the Air Force, not the Navy.
Well, I didn't know if they put like an Air Force mechanic on one of those boats since they fly planes.
That's hold on before you reach too far on that. How often, or maybe you don't know the answer to this question, is it that the Air Force has to land on an aircraft carrier, or are those strictly Navy pilots?
I have never heard of an air now. I can't say World War II. We had the
That's
Army
different.
Air
I'm
Corps.
talking
That's
about
different.
now. I'm talking about now.
You'll probably never see an Air Force pilot land on a Navy carrier.
Interesting.
Unless they're doing some crazy training, but you'll never see that because first of all, Air Force aircraft are not made for aircraft carriers because Navy aircraft have the tail hook
Right.
To slingshot.
Which is not to catch.
to catch it.
Oh,
Whenever
to
it lands,
catch.
to catch it.
To catch.
And the landing gear are made different. If you ever look at a
What's
video,
that little thing that they hook the front wheel on?
oh, you're talking about the catapult.
Is that the catapult?
That's
Is that what they call it?
They call it catapult.
It helps them go.
It helps. Yeah,
Just an extra.
yeah. So what it is, it's steam powered.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
steam powered. It used to be cable. So if you watch Top Gun, you see
Right.
the cable.
Fuck yeah,
system
bro.
run it. But in the new Top Gun, they're all steam powered now.
Oh,
I
sick.
think they're steam powered. It may be something different, but you hook it up to the nose landing gear, and what it does is you put full afterburner, you hold brakes, and then it launch you, and it drags the nose landing gear, and it drags you and accelerates you to a certain speed, and you're already in full afterburner. So it slingshots you into the air. It's from the short distance of it. You have to gain. You have to
What
gain
do you get on an aircraft carrier? Do you even know much about those?
No, not really.
Football
I've never
fields
been on one.
linked?
So have you?
Yeah, probably football field.
You
Maybe
think you'll fly a
football field.
jet eventually?
So the progression that I want to do.
Yeah,
is,
that's a good question, dude.
So the progression
turbines.
that I'm looking at
Where
right
are you
now,
at on turbines?
progression that I'm doing. So I have about 280, almost 300 flight hours, single engine, some multi-engine time.
It's a lot of time.
So
That
a
is
couple.
a lot,
so this is
dude.
like first or second year of college. This is what you would get after flying for a long time. First, second year, maybe third year of college, stuff like that. So it's pretty. If you look at how much flight time I have to how long I've done it, it's pretty slow. The progression.
But you're also working
But
a
I'm
lot.
also
yeah.
busy and everything like that. Yeah, and money is always a problem. It's $150 at
Per
flight
flight.
hour.
Yeah.
A flight hour.
Wow.
So an hour, the prop is turning, the motor's running. That's $150.
Do you have often like 2-hour flights?
Yeah, sometimes depending on what I do. Yeah,
So $300 flight right there. Jesus.
or more. I had to do an instrument long cross country, and it was 6.9 hours. So you do the
Wow.
math on how long that is. So, but the progression is the goal is to fly cargo planes, military, and cargo planes on the outside. People suck. I don't want to talk to people. So if I fly airlines, I have to deal with people.
Right.
Cargo is always needed. During the pandemic, they shut the
And
airlines
you
down.
don't have to announce to cargo like, "Hey, this is your
Yeah.
pilot speaking."
You have to deal with a small amount of crew and
Yeah.
maybe a flight attendant and then the loaders. That's it. You don't have to deal with a bunch of people.
You don't have
Right.
to ask a bunch of people to put their fucking
during the
seatbelts
pandemic,
on.
during the pandemic, they didn't move a lot of people. But what did they move? All the boxes that your girlfriend or your wife ordered through Amazon.
Right.
That's how they got the package there.
Man, I don't want to derail this. We're well over our hour, but I have to ask. Thomas, you'll forgive me, but I have to ask. Have you heard of the woman who survived a 30,000-foot fall in the commercial plane? She was a flight attendant in South America.
Mm-hmm.
It was an international flight. I don't know the specifics of the flight, but she was a flight attendant, and she's like free moving about the aisle, and the plane goes into failure, total crash. It's a loss. There's nose diving from 30,000 feet. There's nothing the pilots can do. They're trying to correct it, trying to fix it. The plane winds up crashing in the Amazon somewhere in South America. And the lady is a flight attendant again, and she's free roaming at the point of failure. And then once it goes nose down, the cart from the aisle pins her to what would be, I guess, the bow of the plane up against where the pilots are at. And she's pinned against the wall of the pilot and this cart going face down, ass up into the ground. And then once it crashes, homegirl survives. Everyone on the plane dies. No sole survivors. No survivors except for her. Did you hear about this woman?
No, I've never heard of
I
that.
watched a video.
She's like a 28-year-old flight attendant and survived. And this is in like the 1960s or 1970s.
I just watched a video this week of a like 18-year-old that was flying and the landing gear wouldn't come out, and she had to land the plane without landing gear.
That happens too.
But so you said you're eventually going to get into jet
Yeah, so-
engines.
so-
Will you start with like a small plane like this
Yeah,
with a
so I've
jet?
been flying this for a long time. So this is normal. It's training. It's cheap. Like that. So the progression is this: get my degree. So I'm gonna do my 4-year, my degree, my bachelor's degree, and once I do that, then I'll commission. And then if I pass the AFOQT, which is Air Force Officer Questionnaire, whatever it's called, they tell me what jobs I can do. and if I'm eligible to do it, then they'll put me in a flight slot. Go to flight training, get everything done, do all my training. Then I figure out if I want to go to heavies or jets, or if I want to go to fighters or heavies. So I'm going to pick the heavies because I want to do cargo.
Right.
I don't want to do jets. I don't really care about lawn darts. If I had to fly fighters, I'd fly F-15.
You think that's fun?
What's the fastest you've ever flown, you think?
I flew in a
Whether as a passenger or a pilot.
So I flew in a P-51 in the
What's
backseat of the P-51 Mustang. So with the Tuskegee Airman flew.
Yeah.
So I flew in the backseat of that. Didn't fly it, but I just flew it.
What did he
flew
get you up to?
So
did did you not talk about it after?
I mean,
we
talked about it. Like I could see it, but it was 200, 220 knots or something like that. I mean, we were doing diving passes and everything like that. So I really don't know what the actual speed was, but it's pretty quick. But if you want to say as fast, and I was on something, so I mean, I've flown C5. C5 is a jet, so I've flown in that. But the fastest I've flown in a small aircraft was probably a P-51 Mustang. But you can look at the Mustang and see how fast it goes. And we were pretty much pinned.
What's the actual nomenclature for the Mustang?
P-51.
P-51.
P-51 Mustang.
And those are cool aircrafts, man.
The Cadillac of the sky is what they call it.
441 miles.
Yeah, it looks like 441.
So maybe I was going that's pretty slow estimate. But they go 400 something miles an hour. They're single engine V12 Merlin, big old supercharged, big aircraft. Cadillac of the sky, Tuskegee Airmen flew these things. There's a lot that are still flying, but they're $1.5 million to $3 million a piece. But I was able to fly one at Georgetown, Delaware.
You actually flew one yourself?
I flew in the back seat of one.
Oh, okay. You haven't flown
so
one
I've
yourself.
never flown
So like
one.
a co-piloting.
Yeah. So, but the fastest thing that I've flown personally, I volunteered at a Georgetown, Delaware for Rag Wings and Radials, which it's Georgetown Aviation Museum, and they have a B-25 there, Mitchell bomber. So I've personally flown this aircraft. Panchito is going to be the one. I'm sure it's going to show up somewhere on here. But this is the type of aircraft that I've flown.
Is this close to it?
Yeah, that's pretty close to
You
what it
have
is.
flown this?
So actually, if you go down to the other go. So Tommy, go to the other search. Yeah, right there. That one right there.
This one?
Yeah, go that one. So that's more similar to what it is. It's not the correct tail, but that's what it is. So I've flown this. I've got 0.7 hours flown in it. We had to do a maintenance
Look
run.
at the tail guy right here. You can see where the guy in the tail would be, like the spotter right here.
We had to do a maintenance run back. We had a tire that was the metal cord body was coming out. So we were at a Reading, PA for World War II weekend.
You've got your nose gunner here, and then your top gunner.
I've been in every position of this aircraft.
The back spotter.
I worked safety pilot for
like
it, but I volunteered for this museum, and I did some
so
0.7
cool,
hours in this. So this is the fastest thing that
0.7 hours.
0.7 hours, yeah.
That's
that was how.
sick,
So we did. So I've got logged in my logbook 0.7 hours of multi-engine in a B-25.
Right.
So basically that looked like you got to do your pre-takeoff checklist, all that stuff, and then you got to take off.
I didn't take off. So the whole entire thing, they take off because they're the qualified members.
Mm-hmm.
They got out of the seat, and while we were at cruise, they let me sit in the seat and maneuver it to.
Then from there, you get to do
then I got out. Then they
42 minutes of whatever you want, and you got to do like bank stuff.
Yeah, so we had some weather, so I had to go around some clouds, pocket clouds, ascend, descend, everything like that,
That's
and
so
go around.
cool, dude.
So I've got out. So this is the fastest thing I've flown, and this is, you got to think, this thing is World War II, so this is late 30s, early 40s aircraft.
Yeah.
So it's over 70 years old.
What do you got, like 2 or 3 stories from your time in Germany that you want to share that are just like?
What's your number one story from Germany, whether it be maintenance related, flying related? What's the number one story that, like, when you see a friend you haven't seen in 10 years, you're like, man, I've been in Germany for the last 6 years. Let me tell you that. What's that story?
I think one of the big things is whenever I got back from deployment in Qatar in January, I started doing a bunch of trips. I'd been to 17 countries since I've been over in Europe since 2019. So
A lot of train rides, right?
Some train rides, but mainly air flights. And stuff like
Okay.
that. So I tell everybody. So I've been to multiple countries, and I did camper van tours. So I did a week in Portugal, a week in Iceland, 4 days in Ireland. That's how I got around. So they had camper vans. Rented them through Airbnb. Did Portugal for a week. I drove down south and all the way. I drove the entire country of Portugal for a week.
That's
and I would drive it.
Sick,
I would go to a restaurant or I would drive somewhere, look at something.
Next time you're in Portugal, I got a guy. He just opened a restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Dude, the next time you're in fucking Iceland,
so
I got a fucking guy.
I did that. So what I did was I drove. So I went to eat this fish restaurant, and I couldn't find anywhere to park because it was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I drove on the other side of this canyon area.
Watch out for my tree back there, dude.
And
you're fucking dude. That's an expensive tree.
So I came around and went down this gravel road and sat in this dirt gravel parking lot.
Yeah.
And it was at night, so I didn't know where it was, but I knew where the cliff was at the cliff side of it. So I parked in this and in the morning I get up and 50 feet away is the cliff. It's like 150 to 200 foot cliff, and that's where the water starts. And you look out, and that's the Atlantic. So 50 feet away, I park, I sleep, I wake up, and I wake up on the cliff. And that's a cool thing. I did this for an entire week. Iceland did the same thing. I drove around the entire country. Highway 1.
Northern Lights?
All the way. No, it was in the middle of May. Sun never set. Legally, it sat at 11:30 and woke up at 3:30. It was daylight. It looked like 5 o'clock in the afternoon the entire night.
The sun never sat.
The sun never sat. It glows below the horizon.
Kind of like Alaska, yeah.
But it comes up, and it's in the middle of May. It's the last week of May. So it always looked like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It didn't matter if it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon or if it was 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
It looked like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's
crazy
insane.
place. I drove all the way around the entire country of Iceland on Highway 1, and just for a whole week, just looked at everything. That place is like 5 different environments in one. You got volcanoes in one. You got volcanoes in multiple areas.
Greenery.
I mean, the whole entire thing.
Greenery and
The
another.
whole entire thing is
Yeah.
It's like Indiana
it's a
weather.
giant rock.
Right.
Giant rock, and it's on fire. I mean, there's multiple volcanoes and stuff like
It's
that.
on fire.
That's what it is. But there are fields of lava rock from volcanoes and
Right.
stuff like that. But you got mountains in one part. You got sloping hills in another part. You got one part that looks like Ireland. Have you ever looked at Ireland and Greenland? The
Right.
sloping green hills?
Sick.
That's south down there. There's fields of these purple flowers. Crazy stuff. You go on the other side, it looks like it's jagged cliffs over on the shore. Wild. Then at the top northwest corner,
It's
it looks like the Rockies
glaciers.
and massive mountains and stuff like that. You go on the other side, it's plain. It's that plains,
flat plains.
flat plains and rolling hills, and there's puffins walking around and stuff like that. Then there's black sand. There's mixed sand. There's tan and black up north. Then there's black sand down south
Right.
and stuff like that. And from every place I've gone to, so like,
That's what I was gonna say. Show
I got stuff. So
Oh, what?
I got different things that I've taken from different countries, rocks and sand and stuff like that. So I have black sand from Iceland and some other places and stuff like that. This is from Normandy. This is
Sick.
sand from
Normandy.
Omaha Beach.
May I?
Yeah. So this is sand from Omaha Beach. I got some sand from all 5 landing beaches and dirt from Point Duhok in that. So that stuff has seen some footprints.
Right. That's really
There.
cool.
Do you?
Have you on this tour of Europe that you've
This is
been
a good
doing in your
transition.
spare time? I was gonna say, so you've toured a lot of museums, got a lot of history.
Massive amount of museums. I mean, they're
You toured
churches.
Auschwitz or anything like
I have
that?
done Auschwitz. I've done both. So I've done the Auschwitz main, so 1, and Auschwitz 2. So the Auschwitz main, everybody thinks the camp is Auschwitz. There's 3 parts of Auschwitz. There's 1, 2, and 3.
It's basically like a city,
So Auschwitz
right?
1, yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
So there's 3 different. So Auschwitz 1 is the main compound. That's where they did all of the testing. That's where they kept a lot of people. That's where they did they did the medical testing and stuff like
Was
that.
it almost eerie stepping
So
there?
and you can't go in there unless you have a tour guide with you. So you have to you have to do
Schedule
a tour
ahead,
group.
yeah.
So it's really interesting to see. It's all very well put together. If you go, you got to go. It's very interesting. So there's Auschwitz 1 and there's Auschwitz Birkenheim. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But Auschwitz Birkenheim is the camp itself. That's the labor camp. That's where you see the entrance. They got the train.
Right.
Let everybody out. That's the big area. So that's Auschwitz 2. Auschwitz 1 is the main medical compound and everything like that where they did all the experiments. Auschwitz Birkenheim, which is the village that's out there, that's Auschwitz 2. That's where they did a labor camp and everything like that. But everybody confuses Auschwitz is like, oh, it's only that one labor camp. No. Auschwitz was broken up into 3 different camps. The other one was where all the commandants sat and everything like that.
So we're talking about some pretty heavy, dark stuff, man. And you don't throw the word Auschwitz around or the name Auschwitz around without carrying a heavy toll.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we do like to ask is
I was
that
going to say before we ask the dark question, like, what are castles like? We don't have castles here in America.
Okay,
do they have a bunch of castles.
We
over
have
there?
castles. We have castles in the States, but castles are different how in the States. Like you have the mansions out in New York. You have the mansions out there. Those are the old castles.
You have castles in
we
America.
Yeah, we do. We have castles
Barely.
everywhere.
Not compared to what they got over there.
Not over there. Not as historically old as them. They're still considered castles. But you can look up. I mean, a castle could just be a stone. It's stone.
I know Poland
buildings.
has a fuck ton.
I mean, every country in Europe has it. So like these are castles right here.
Yeah, I don't know.
So this stuff looks like stuff in Germany. That right there looks like on the Rhine River, off of the Rhine, right by Bingen. There is a little castle that's in the middle of the river. And it kind of looks similar to this. There's just one spire in the middle of it, and I don't know how they got it there, but it's similar to this. They're just old stone buildings like this. But yes, all the European castles are dated back about hundreds of years ago,
Right.
and they're wild places. But the other thing is churches themselves. Those are museums in themselves.
Right.
Or whatever. So I've seen one church or whatever. They had a priest that was in a stone tablet. They have all the priests that are carved into it from 9 AD.
That's nuts.
Single digit 9 AD is whenever they had a priest at this.
Yeah,
so they
like
had foundations and stuff like that.
Jesus died 8 years ago, dude. We got some shit to do though.
Yeah.
So here we're gonna build this castle. Man.
Have you been to Poland?
I've been Poland.
Have you seen the salt mine and the church that's in the salt mine?
I have not seen that. I've been to Warschau
or whatever it's called.
Katowice and Krakow, which is the two
Right.
big cities. I haven't been to Warsaw. Katowice and Krakow is in the southern west portion. Warsaw is northern, but that's where Auschwitz is like an hour
Right.
away from that and stuff like that. I went to a coal mine there, so I got a piece of coal from
That's
the underground
dope.
coal mine. That was pretty neat to do.
What else did you bring? They got another little box here.
Oh yeah, so
Oh, dude,
I have the
we
box.
should have done like the whole show and tell thing.
So
dude.
this is money, probably about 5 or 6 different
dude.
currencies.
Dude, Thomas, why didn't you warn me about this, man? We could have done a whole damn. Here we go. This week's show and tell brought to you by fucking Corn Dog Development. Yeah, so we got some cool music that goes along with anytime somebody brings something in to show.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. So hold on. Let the tunes just settle in. You know what I mean?
So this box came from. You got it in Germany as well.
Yeah, so this box is from a Christmas store on base, actually. But I bought this box because I bought a bunch of Christmas stores and stuff like that, sent back to family a couple of years ago before I deployed, actually.
Yeah.
I sent this stuff in July because I was leaving in July and I was sending Christmas presents. So I bought this box and I just kept it because what I do is I keep all the magnets, the spare magnets and postcards that I buy from other countries and places.
Right.
So I have my refrigerator is full.
Decked out.
Is like, I don't know, I have like 72 or 80 different magnets and it's a whole storyboard. They're not like everywhere.
Right.
They're all in line.
That's awesome.
And I have a couple postcards and stuff like that. I have about 40
What do we got in
different
here?
magnets and stuff like that.
What do we got in here?
So this is extra stuff. So like
And your camera's right here again. So
this is from one of my recent trips. So this is
you just hold it
Budapest, Hungary. A magnet from Budapest, Hungary.
Sick.
So and then
Yeah, you'll have to send us a picture when you land of your
I
fridge.
got one.
Okay, cool.
This is
Fucking squared away. I already got one.
volcano Vesuvio. So Pompeii.
Yeah. Vesuvio.
So the volcano that erupted in Pompeii. This is the volcano that erupted in Pompeii.
You fly over it?
No, I mean I drove by it. I
Okay.
didn't go. They sold out of tickets. You have to buy tickets to walk to go up there.
That's
So like
good.
I got stuff from Normandy. I've got stuff from Rouen, France. I got stuff
And what
from
was that like visiting all the
Vienna.
sites where troops landed in like World War II?
It was
and stuff?
pretty. It's pretty wild. I mean, you've got like Easy Company, Band of Brothers. I
Yeah.
found their monument. It's out the feet. It's like on the side of a road, right
Yeah.
by a field.
It's
It's
near.
like where-
It's near a cliff.
No,
No.
maybe one of them is, but this one that I found is at a intersection, at a road. It's just sitting by a field. An Easy Company. It has all the people's names, and then like half a block down is where their command post was. So there maybe have different monuments and stuff like that. But the whole entire Normandy area, it's like Gatlinburg. Whenever you go to Gatlinburg, you got Pancake House, go karts, laser tag, Pancake House. It's like that. You drive down the highway. You've got D-Day Museum. You have D-Day Memorial. You have cemetery. You have museum. You have memorial. Then you have these little memorials here. You have the little memorials here.
Somebody
You have stuff in
died
the middle of
here.
the field.
Somebody died there. Somebody died
So,
here.
like, there's-
Somebody
so
died
like
there.
the 82nd and 101st Airborne, they have all of the like stuff in the middle of the field.
Right, from
It's
like
this
a
is memorials,
plane crash
this is
or
whenever
whatever.
this is where they landed on this day. This is who landed here. Blah 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 stuff like that.
So
and then,
normally Thomas will give me a heads up when we're doing a damn show and tell, and I didn't know that was the situation. I did see you bring in like 9 boxes.
I just brought stuff in to show you.
That's
guys.
cool.
It's really
No, we
neat,
really
man.
like it.
But like this is a box of like 5 different currencies, foreign
francs
currency
and
coins,
stuff.
and then like I have 7 different currencies of money in here
Damn,
too.
just keeping them
So,
on your
like,
keeping
I
them bill,
bring them back for people to see.
keep them
or whatever.
bills on you.
Yeah,
dude.
but I
so
have
cool.
I have euro, I have Bulgarian lev, Hungarian fortnit, money from Poland, Swiss francs, Qatari reals, and then Icelandic krona.
Damn,
So it's
dude.
just wild.
You got rubies in the
Hey,
coin
easy,
jar.
Easy with the Corona talk.
Yeah, the krona.
You got to be easy. Just don't say it too loud, or like a little gypsy will come out and fucking everybody will be sick
Yeah,
in
so
here.
those are easy souvenirs to pull, and then magnets are cheap. Magnets are cheap and stuff like that. It's cool. Postcards are
100%.
cheap.
Right.
Stuff to bring.
What
100%.
what advice do you have for somebody that wants to get into flying airplanes?
Okay, so the advice I tell you to get on airplanes, a lot of people are like, oh, like I'll wait until I save money. You'll never save enough money for airplanes. There's never enough money that you
Right.
can give airplanes. All you gotta do is start off slow. There's no reason you don't have to do it within 6 months. You don't have to get your pilot's license. It took me 4 years to get my pilot's license. It took a while.
That's a long time.
Took a while. Grass runways, they flood, they get frost, they get snow. You know,
You've got
they're
life
too
shit
wet.
going on?
Yeah, you got to pay bills, you got stuff like that. The one thing that I give people advice for flying is you got to stick with it, everything like that. It doesn't matter about the money situation. You're always going to have not enough money to do your hobbies. But if you like it, do
You'll
it.
make time
You don't
and
have to
figure
make
it
a
out.
career out of it like I choose to. You can just get a pilot's license, get an instrument commercial, and get a little puddle jumper like that. Get a 4-seater and take your family down to Disney World all the time. I mean, that's what
Right.
people do. You never have to make a career out of it. It's just something that would be interesting to see and do,
Right.
you know, just to do.
And sometimes it's cheaper than driving.
Sometimes it is cheaper. Sometimes it's more economically.
faster.
Yeah, it's definitely faster, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's cheaper, but it's faster. Especially if you're in business, you get one of these aircraft and you have clients in multiple different cities and states and stuff like that. You jump in your airplane and it's like, oh, I got to show a house here. I got to meet with this.
There in 2
You fly-
hours instead of
I'm
8.
There in 2 hours, yeah, instead of driving 8 hours and stuff like that. It's time consuming. It's time efficient, and if you know how to do it, it's something extra and it's cool.
And it's a different vantage point.
Yeah, and at Dover, sometimes I would go on dates with girls in New Jersey.
That's so
And it was
cool.
3 hours to drive to Cape May.
Yeah.
I'd get in the plane and fly over the Delaware Bay in like 20 minutes and land there.
And
have
normally
dates.
Delaware Bay would take you fucking 2 hours.
You
just
would
to
either
get
go
there.
down an hour to get a ferry and cross the ferry, and Delaware Bay on a ferry, and it would take an hour to get that. So it'd take you 2 or 3 hours to just get there, or you drive up Delaware, across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then drive down New Jersey. And that would take you 3 hours to get there.
You're just like, hey, girl, meet me at the landing strip.
Yeah, so I would tell them, it's like, pick me up at Cape May Airport or pick me up at Atlantic City Airport. And then you'd have to explain it. They're like, why are you picking you up at the airport? It's
You're
like,
like,
I'm
I'm
flying
flying.
there. And like, you fly planes? And you have to explain. It's like, yes,
And
I
then you're
fly
like,
planes.
yeah, dude,
was like,
I get it.
I'll be there in an hour. Just wait, and I'll explain it to you. And you show up in the plane, it's like, they don't understand it. They can't comprehend it.
Yeah,
But it's
and
just
then
part of it.
and then immediately they're like, okay, obviously you have a huge penis. I need to see it. So
What's
dude,
that called? Would it be like Airhead instead of Roadhead?
dude? That's interesting. Mile High Club. What do you think?
Sure.
He's in it. He's in it.
So,
dude, no
comment.
You want to go to the
You go-
last?
yeah.
You want me to get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the last thing we like to ask all of our guests, man, you've had a wild ride.
A wild flight.
You've had a wild flight, through this life so far, and you're only 29.
Yeah.
Was that what you said? 29. You're very young, and you've had a crazy experience, getting your pilot's license, going into the Air Force, pursuing being a pilot in the Air Force. What's been and you don't have to get too into detail on what the instance was, but
Was there ever a turbulent time that you wanted to throw in
you
the
have to do
towel?
that. Yeah, what was the darkest moment of this entire trip you've been on in the last decade, and then what got you through that darkest moment? What if there was ever a time that made you want to quit? I don't want to be a pilot anymore, or I don't want to be.
You bust your knuckle on an airplane and you're like, man, fuck
whatever.
this.
What was the darkest moment of this entire journey in the last decade, and then most importantly, what pulled you through that darkest moment? That's what we care most about.
So I would say the darkest moment that has nothing to do with leaving home, has nothing to do with being a continent away, has nothing to do with being 12 hours away, and stuff like that. I think the darkest moment is finding out that their time is slow and time is fast on one thing, on one instance. So you're trying to get a goal and you're mad because it's taken you forever to get the goal there. So it takes forever for me to do school because one, I don't have enough time to do school all the time, and second, I don't get the benefit enough to where I can do it all the time.
Right.
So it's a slow process of doing school, but it's also time goes fast, so you need to do it now instead of waiting, stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing is waiting. In the military, it's hurry up and wait.
Yep.
So you're always waiting on something. So you're either waiting on somebody to do their job or something to line up to where you can make it work. So all you got to do is do everything on your end, enough to where you can always make sure that you're always covered to where if they ask you about it, you could say that, hey, I'm there. I have everything done.
Ready.
I'm ready for you to keep going with this or for the next step, stuff like that. So, for instance, I leave in March next year. Mm-hmm. I've been planning how I'm going to go about leaving in March for 2 years from now, from 2 years earlier.
Right.
So I've done school. I've done school and stuff like that. I got my associates in January whenever I was deployed and stuff like that.
Congratulations.
So I did all that. I finally got it awarded after 7 months because the Air Force is slow. I don't understand how people get degrees in the military.
The Air Force has autism.
And
Yes.
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 So I finally got that. But I'm trying to figure out if I want to stay in, take orders, and do online school for the next 3.5 years, or separate active duty status and go guard and do full-time school.
But what pushes you through the time? Because like you said, it can be cumbersome. That like time is short, but also time is long. What is in your head that's like, okay, no matter whether time is short today or time is long today, this is the thing that is propelling me forward. See what I did there? Propelling me forward.
The biggest thing with it is, especially since I work in maintenance career field, I always see these airplanes. So it's always like, oh, it's like, well, this could be me one day. Or I always see the guys flying. It's like, this could be me one day flying these broke airplanes all the time around the world. That's pretty much what it is. So it's more the fact that, and also I like not dealing with people.
A broke airplane. I mean, that could be me one day.
Yeah. You got to think there's like three, as long as they have the saying is like, as long as the 3 million parts work on the aircraft, you're going to get from point A to point B.
Yeah. 100%.
At the correct time, as long as the 3 million parts work. So it's more the fact that I see it every day and I see what I'm going to, what you're going to be, what I'm going to be at one point in time. So that's a good thing.
That's a safe assumption to say that at this point that like with
your eyes on the prize.
With speaking to you, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do drugs. You're very well driven because we know that is ski and not beer. You're a very well driven individual, and that like your head is on a very good set of shoulders.
It's clear too.
Yeah, and it's safe to say that you are going to be a pilot for the United States Air Force. Most importantly, for cargo planes. That's incredible to say that I even know who you are, and that's I don't know. I'm very proud of who you've become in the last few years because I've known you for 6 years now.
I would say that the biggest part of moving all this is I left here.
You have to. And I don't want to dwell on that because we don't want to talk about how bad Evansville is.
Well, it's not that saying that how bad Evansville is. This comes from everybody's hometown.
If you
get if you get stagnant in one place,
yes,
you're either never going to go above and beyond your comfort zone, or you're never going to be able to achieve those goals. Now, your goals may be where you want. Everybody's goal is different.
Yes.
Your goal may be small compared to my goal or whatever. You want to live here and die here? That's fine.
That's on you.
I want to live here and die here somewhere else. But that's your goal. That's not me to determine that. But the other thing is the pursuit of what you want.
Right.
And me leaving was the best pursuit of going and doing what I wanted and stuff like that.
I have to say that you have honestly, for one 29-year-old, have lived a fascinating life. At 29, I've not lived the life that you've lived. You've been to a lot of fascinating places. You've captured a lot of fascinating photos. You've flown over a lot of fascinating places. I'm honestly, I legitimately mean, I'm very proud to have known Joe Greene.
So we'll go with that picture right there.
This one.
So this collage right here, a couple pictures, this Instagram. So this is my last trip. A week and a half ago, I went to Bulgaria, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Slovakia, Hungary, Austria, Italy, and Spain. So I did 6 countries, 9 cities in 11 days. So that's how small. That's how Europe is.
And I love
And
European
let's say think about this.
architecture.
Let's say think about this.
So beautiful.
I spent $200 for all 6 flights. That's all together. So
Wow.
like one flight would be 25, another flight would be 60, another flight would be 40, another flight would be 35. So that's Colosseum in Rome.
Yeah.
And then the next day I went to Barcelona. I was in Barcelona.
So
That's the
beautiful.
Sigma Familia. And then that's the coast there in Barcelona. That's where I got the same. Or
The sand.
I have another thing of saying, but this is in Mallorca. This is the island off of Spain right there. This is Mallorca. So the Instagram you can't put a lot of pictures and stuff like that, but my Facebook page has hundreds of pictures.
How do people find you on Instagram? Because we have a lot of people that don't watch this. We have a lot of
Okay.
people that just listen. So if you're just listening, we're scrolling through a specific post on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle so people can find
my
you?
Instagram handle is Piper N5538 Foxtrot. So Piper, like the aircraft Piper, Piper, N as in the letter N as in November 5538 and F as in Foxtrot. So that's there. Pretty easy to find.
And then, so as we're gonna, you got any last minute shout outs to people who have helped you along the way, keep you going? And Brian's gonna actually just scroll through your Instagram and it'll play as the credits play, essentially.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the last couple minutes is really all you, King. So we're really just giving the floor to you at this point.
So I'm gonna say a lot of stuff for the supporters of a lot of people that I went to high school with. All of my buddies through high school that I've known through middle school and high school, and everything like that. Definitely mom and dad. Mom and dad have pushed me through everything. They've supported me through a lot of stuff. Grandparents, my grandma and grandpa, they've supported me a lot, and everything. My grandma will send me postcards every month.
That's awesome.
She's been sending me postcards since I went to basic training every month, and I have a drawer full of them and stuff like that. But all the people from all these places, all of my supervisors I've had in the military and all different jobs, all the events I've gone to, a lot of people from Oshkosh that I've known, they support me through aviation, and stuff like that. All of my flight instructors, my flight instructor here, Jason Fuller, he runs Excel Aviation out at Tri-State Aero. He was my instructor at Boonville, and he's the instructor now here. That was whenever I came back home in Oshkosh. So that's over Wrights. I have a drone. That's how I get a lot of this footage. So I have a drone. That's how I got some of these stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, everybody that's me flying to Qatar, also the plane with the desert and everything. That was whenever I was deployed. But all these people that have just always been around and everything like that. All of my friends from here, people that I've grown up with, people that from different duty stations, stuff like that. So that's a lot of the thing where I'm at. But a lot of it is nobody's a pilot in my family. Nobody's in the military is my family. So I didn't have. This is the first real experience of anybody immediately in the family of anybody that's gone to the military or flying airplanes. No one does it.
Right.
So I'm kind of like the experimental child with this and stuff like that.
That's awesome, Jeff.
We can only hope that you'll have children and that they will also be pilots as well.
We'll see.
But dude, I can't thank you enough for your time, man. You honestly have lived such a phenomenal life in 29 short years. You've done more than Thomas and I could ever aspire to do at the age of 29. So just thank you so much for your time. And dude, honestly, like your Instagram's on fire. So again, check him out. That is Piper. So that's Piper, N as in November 5538. F as in Foxtrot. Check this dude's Instagram out. He's got shots from all over the world, literally all over the world. And just thank you so much for your time, sir. I greatly appreciate it.
And thank you for your service.
Yeah, thanks for
thank
coming.
you for your
Thanks for
service,
having me
dude. And I'll tell you what, dude. If you guys are just listening to the podcast and not watching, you need to get on the YouTube, get on there and check it out so you can see some of these cool shots that we're looking at today and some of the other cool shots in all the other videos, man. Joe, thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
it's always a
you're welcome.
pleasure to talk to you. This has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm, and this has been Joe Greene.
Joe
Joe
Greene,
Greene.
Senior. God bless you, sir. And thank you again.
Adios.
Hey guys, if you liked what you heard today, there will be a new episode next Tuesday, as well as every Tuesday at 6 a.m. So hit that subscribe button and let your phone do all the work for you.